Hi everyone, it's Brittany. I am doing my second part of my September TBR. This is going to be all of the readathons that I am participating in September 2021. So the order in which I go over these is going to be the order in which I explain them. So if you're only interested in one and not all of them, you can jump around. Before I forget, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you have any comments, please leave me a comment down below, and subscribe if you want to. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the readathons. So the first readathon that I will be participating in is Beccas Bookopoly, and this is a TBR month-long readathon. This is based off of her TBR game, which is Beccas Bookopoly. So I will be playing that. For this, I'm only going to do 2 rolls so that I have a lot less books on my TBR, because what I'm going to do is I have the other readathon that I'm participating in is the magical readathon. So, and the last readathon that I'm participating in is series September. The series September is done by Books and Jams, and the magical readathon is done by G at Book Roast. And then Becca in the Books is the Bookopoly-thon. So what I'm going to do is I have more of a theoretical TBR, because I'm not sure what I want to read exactly for the magical readathon. So I'm going to make just like a basic choose during the month what book I read for what prompts. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the very first one, which is Beccas Bookopoly. I have my little mover here. I have 2 dice, and there are a couple of rolls to this. If I don't like a prompt or I can't find any books for the prompt, I'm allowed to do it again, roll again, and whatever property I land on, whatever prompt I get, I have to fulfill it with 2 books. Also, if I get any doubles, that'll add more books to it. So without further ado, here's roll number 1. Three and 1, which is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. TBR Vet. So a book that has been on my TBR forever. And the book that I'm going to choose is actually, I think, the oldest book I have on my TBR, and that is going to be The Autumnlands, Tooth and Claw. This is a graphic novel. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that the art style looks pretty cool. Okay, so that is roll number 1. Roll number 2. 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and monsters. So for that, I'm going to be reading the punishment book for September, which is Radiance by Grace Devon, not sure. So that's going to be, I believe this is a romance, a fantasy romance between two different creatures. I think one's human and one's alien or something like that. So I will be picking that up for my second roll. And so that is the Bookopoly books. So I will definitely be getting to these this month. These ones are for sure. It's going to happen. So the next readathon that I'm participating in is the Magical Readathon, which the first prompt, I only have to actually read 2 books, but I just made a list of books that I want to get to, so I'm going to just use it again as a general TBR, so that I can pick from during the month. So, the novice path is to read a book with a map in it, and for that one, my option is Ship of Magic. I'm going to just show you the, oops, that's my bookmark. I'm going to just show you the map. See? Map. So that is my first book. The second book is to read a book that is tempting you, a book at the top of your TBR. For that, I'm going to choose Moon Witch. This came in a mystery box for me, and it looks pretty cool. Not sure what it's about. I just know it's a pretty cover. I know that from the title, there's going to be a witch in it, and I absolutely adore witches. Plus, I think she's very pretty. So, that's the second book on my hypothetical TBR. The next one is to read a standalone, and for that, I'm going to pick the Mobile Feast. This is another one that will absolutely get read this month because it is on my TBR from my game, Chaos Game of Books. So this Ernest Hemingway is what I'm going to go with as a standalone. Then the next one I have is to read a book with a haunted house, other supernatural or elements. For that, I'm picking up the book called Air. It's by, I can't think of who it's by. It's, sorry, forgive me. My, assistant isn't here today. It's gonna be Air by L.W. Gilbert. That is the second book in the Elemental series. So that's what I'm going to use for that. And then the Obsidian Falls is to read a mystery or a thriller or mystery, I should say. And for that, I'm going to be reading Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. And then we have a 5-star prediction. So for a 5-star prediction, I'm going with Janet Ivanovich, Love Overboard. I love this author, so I'm curious to see what this one's like. And then the last book I have on, well, not the last book, but the next prompt is going to be a book with school in the setting. And for that, I'm going to go with a School of Good and Evil. I do not have a copy of this. I can get it through my library, so that's how I'm going to be getting that. And then the next one to build the character is the background. So I picked urban book set in a city or town. And for that, I'm reading Kiss of Midnight by Laura Adrian. The next book I'm going to be reading, if I do read it, is the read a book from an ongoing series, and for me that's the newest J.D. Robb book. I absolutely adore J.D. Robb, Nora Roberts. I love both her personas. She's very prolific, and I can't wait to see what this one's like. And then the last prompt I have is I've chose to be a dwarf. I have to read a science fiction, and for that I'm reading Soul of Stars. This is the second book in the Heart of Iron series, or duology, or I'm not sure what that is, but it's called Soul of Stars. And that is all I'm going to be reading for the Magical Readathon. Now, as far as series goes, I'm going to go ahead and use Kiss of Midnight to start a series. I'm also going to use Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes to say I start a series. The other one I'm going to use is the first book in the, I'm not sure what this one's actually called. This is, I'm not sure, but this is the first book in a series, so I'm also going to be using that. And then Ship of Magic is actually a trilogy, but it's inside of a universe, so I'm going to count that as continuing a series for Eldeling Along. I have not been actually following that group. I just picked it up because they talked about it. So, in all, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I have a total of 9 books. There's no way I'm going to be able to get through all of them. Again, I'm mostly a mood reader, so I'm going to 10 books. I have 10 books, I'm sorry. So I'm going to just pick randomly what I want to read. And then at the end of the month, even though I don't do monthly wrap-ups, I will be doing a monthly wrap-up for all of these, just to show you where I'm at and what I did and how it all worked out. So again, like and subscribe if you want to. Leave a comment down below just letting me know you are here. Thank you all. Bye.